Hi everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever time of the day you are looking at this lecture. Welcome to Brainstorming Sociology. Today's topic is modernity. This topic is of immense importance as we know that questions has been in and around this topic directly and indirectly throughout the years, especially in the times of 2020 to 2025. We have seen many questions coming from this area, and this topic is not only important from paper 1, this topic is of immense importance for paper 2 also. Why this topic is important, I'll show you with the linkage of the syllabus. I have noted it. Like the first topic, that is the sociology, the discipline in the syllabus, which section A has this modernity and social changes in Europe and emergence of sociology. And similarly, this word modernity, the word modern, is linked many a times in the syllabus, which shows the implication of the examiner that they are going to ask questions in and around the modern society, modernity, what all changes has been in and around sociology. So we need to keep in mind that how this word modern is coming in the paper and how this question or analytically that has been developing over the years with this modern word or the modernity word or the modernization word, and we need to inculcate in every answer or the questions asked in that format. So let's see the second part. It's asked in the social change in modern society. So again, the different types of changes or the agents of social change and everything. We are not going for any other keywords. We are just going for the keyword modernity. So we are going to deal in and around it. And even in paper 2, Indian society, the question has been asked in the form of, the syllabus has this mention directly, modernization of Indian tradition under topic introducing Indian society, impact of colonial rule on Indian society. This is of very much of importance. Again, in the third part, industrialization and urbanization in India, evolution of modern industry in India. So this word modern or the modernity has been repeated many a times. So that shows the importance of this word modernity. Coming to the next slide, we have why this topic is important. I just talked about that overlapped theme linked with PYQs. This is helpful for paper 1 and paper 2 as well. Next, if the direct questions sometimes asked, and even direct questions was asked directly in the form of, I think, around 2020 and before. But now the implications or the more interlinkage and the modern form of questions are coming. Like what will be the impact or how this modern factors or forces has been contributing. So that manner. Like it also helps in generating sociological points or the way of development. The way of development of sociological points is very important. So modernity can be used as one of the topics or the subtopics to think as well. So don't just think that why is this topic important for in the word of keywords only if it comes. Think it from the perspective that even if I am able to generate points on the basis of the themes or the in and around things asked, it's very useful. So we'll just check what all core themes that UPSC holds in and around this topic. It's the meaning and nature of modernization. It's tradition versus modernity. It's modernization and social change. It's modernization and inequality, modernization and urbanization, modernization and India. So different formats, modernization has been interlinked with many things and the questions are being asked. So let's see what all PYQs has been asked in the recent 5 years. So recent 5 years is of immense importance because before that we have seen that static type of questions has been asked, and relativity, yes, we should go through it definitely. We should rote learn every PYQ to understand the theme that UPSC asks, but 2020 to 25 becomes much more important to highlight that how examiner thinking pattern has changed. So that needs to be analyzed well. So let's start backwards. 2025, the question was justify that the Indian traditions are modernizing. Also discuss its contributing factors. So what are you going to write in this? That they are asking that Indian traditions are modernizing. Also discuss the contributing factors. So we are going to relate that Indian traditions are modernizing. Before that, we can link that what is modernization means in the introduction. We can mention that how religion has been technologically advanced with the religion. So online darshan, digital donations, AI based things are happening. Mahakumbh had AI usage. All these things can be linked. So family has adapted. Like pick one core thing. Like in this, you can pick family. You can link religion. You can link. Sorry. You can link many factors, right? Family, religion, economy, polity, how the caste based polity and economically mobilized. How can you even link it with marriage traditions are transforming? So you can link with family, you can link with religion, how with economy, how with polity, how with traditional marriages has been changed, how the traditional occupations integrated with markets, or the GI tagging, e-commerce, digital marketing. So all these. So these can be examples, but for thinking in and around the modernization, we need to build upon the concepts. So we'll check out that in lecture. I'm just trying to showcase you that how this topic is important from the point of view of syllabus, from the point of view of PYQ. So try to inculcate that in your answers well, right? We have to think, and even the contributing factors. So when you talk about the contributing factors, you can think from that: education, urbanization, industrialization, technology, globalization, democracy, media and communication. So these can be the factors, but how to interlink? That interlinkage can be built up with the help of sociological perspectives. You can take the help of thinkers, you can take the help of static notes, but we'll just go in and around the topic for the next few slides. Okay. Again, coming to the next question, if I go with the question, agrarian class structure has been undergoing changes due to modern forces. Critically examine. So again, you have to, for the critically examine, you have to think in and around the topic. You have to think the positive side, you have to talk about the negative side too. So for this type of question, you can go with commercialization and capitalist farming, how the differences happened among the peasantry, rich peasants, rural inequality. You can link with the A.R. Desai's concept of how agriculture increasingly reflects capitalist class relations. You can go with mechanization and the labor changes, how Marx talks about it in the form of proletization of the rural workers. You can talk about the rural economy. You can talk about the corporate agriculture. And even the critical side about it, that how the Pankar Gupta talks about it, that rural India appears modern but retains traditional inequalities, mistaken modernity. So to understand or the finding the applications for like you, when you are talking about the applications of these of modernity, you need to build the concepts in and around of the thinkers. So that's why I'm just why we'll talk about those thinkers will become important for these applications. So that's why I'm showcasing you that how these thinkers will be utilized in these, how the concepts will be utilized in this of the modernity. That's why we are talking about this topic. So link everything: capitalist agriculture, rural transformation, mistaken modernity, caste class overlap that Andhra Bete talks about. So this can be one of the questions that has to be dealt in this manner. So always think that we have to usage of the word modernity, So usage, how it has to be developed. So like next question in 2025 was what is the nature of the relationship between science and religion in modern society? Analyze with suitable example. So here when they are talking about science and it is about, again, if we go in silos, it's talk only about the agents of social change. We talk about science and the agents of the modern society. But when we are talking about the relationship, nature about it in the modern society, you have to interlink, right? So in that interlinkage, we have to develop about that. We have to talk about the modernization of religion also, where Yogendra Singh's concept can be applied. You can talk about science supporting religious institutions, how 3D documentation or the 3D ancient temples have been, monuments have been created. Or you can talk about the conflict in ethical issues, how AI generated religious content is being talked about. You can talk about the persistence of religion despite scientific progress, because whatever development has been in and around, but still how the science and religion are still going in hand, right? So you have to talk about that Peter Berger, how his later view that modernization does not necessarily eliminate religion. So these are the concepts which has to be applied. So for those applications, we are seeing that how Karl Marx, how Anthony Giddens reflexive modernity talks about it, how Ulrich Beck's Risk Society talks about it, Yogendra Singh's Indian perspective talks about it. So all these will inculcate like this question: do modernization and secularization go hand in hand? Analyze the role of market and modern forces in understanding the changing trends in marriage system. How will you show these changes? You have to take help of the thinkers. You have to think of their viewpoints. You have to take help of the static points also. So develop the static content, but also develop the in and around thinking pattern of the sociologists or the thinkers, so that you are able to build up according to that thinker's point of view. So when you build up one concept, no, you have to, you get the edge. You get the edge that how will this thinker develop and how will he talk about in any topic, so you can deal with any topic, right? So again, the question in 2021, Europe was the first and the only place where modernity emerged comment. So in this type of question, you need to deal first with the Europe and the 17th century dark ages, and what all changes, how the sociology emerged and how the modernity emerged. But was it the only place where the Europe has only got the modernity? But no, institutionalization has happened there. But before that also, we can talk about our IVC. We can also talk about the Mesopotamian culture. And every culture, wherever you think that yes, it had the features of modernity, maybe not as institutionalized modernity, but you will also counter your points, right? So in that, you have to give those edges. So again, discuss in detail the major contribution of Professor Yogendra Singh in theorizing India's modernization. Again, this is the same type of question which was asked in 2022. So contributions or critically examine, you have to, this is completely a core static topic of the Yogendra Singh's modernization of Indian tradition, that you can go with the static content. I'm not discussing the static content exactly. I'll just help you interlink how it is going to discuss. But I'll show you the applications of modernity in paper 1 and paper 2. So let's go ahead. What is modernity? Like if I roughly talk about what is modernity, we talk it about in the form of social change. We talk about it as a contextual concept, not uniform concept. We talk about the tradition based living to rational, whatever rationality has come up, whatever changes has been occurred. Modernity and modernization, these two concepts are different concepts. One is the condition or the state of being modern, and other is the process through which a society becomes modern. So modernity and modernization may be mistakenly be used as a replaceable word, but they are a condition. One is the condition, one is the state of being modern, other is the process. So you need to develop in and around this. So one example which we can say about the pattern of modernization, that is the barter system, then cash. Barter system, then cash, then UPI or digital banking. So what is happening? This is a process that has been changed over the years. So modernity is transformation of society. It is the transformation. Main keyword is transformation of society. Transformation, or you can talk about social change. What is in what forms? In the form of culture, in the form of structure, in the form of institution. In culture, what? Norms, values, morality. In the form of structures, family, eco, religion, politics. In the form of media, communications. All these changes, if that is coming in and around, that is what we are talking about in modernity. Origin is obviously in Europe, because that is a evidence-based origin. Western perspective of modernity has emerged from there, but not in silos that it has only been emerged there. We have to give contextual references, examples that yes, apart from that also things have occurred. So again, it is important to show you the static part of this Western perspective of modernity, where we talk about often about the dark ages. We often talk about the dawn of modernity and its fallout, the social changes that had come out in the chaotic society. There was much haphazard, all those feudalism was there, how the rise of church, fall of church, and then the modern social ideas that had emerged, how the society had this diagram shows everything, that how this is a very important diagram to show the modernity, how it emerged in Europe, right? So for that social context of that time had helped in the emergence of the sociology also, or rather it gave birth to sociology. So how the questions were being answered, how the chaotic society had come to stability with the help of emergence of the discipline of the sociology was studying in and around that. So that is helping you understand that the modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology as a topic, how it helped or how it generated at that time. So emergence of sociology as a scientific discipline can be traced to French and Industrial Revolution, that we all know. So we are not going in the static very much deep. I'm just trying to help you link that how are the forces, whenever the forces we are talking about, we talk about the French Revolution, Industrial Revolution, social forces, political, intellectual forces, and how the French Revolution had gave birth to all the ideas of Montesquieu and Rousseau, and archaic politics was there, intellectual forces in the form of dark ages, what had happened, and how before it, how the things were happening, how the scientific revolution had come, how the intellectual influences had judged social institution on the basis of reasons, how the philosophy of history had come up, and scientific has given the concepts of historical periods and theories. So biological theories of evolution, where Darwin also talks about it, where Herbert Spencer talks about it, so in the form of principal stages of social evolution. So social forces, political forces, consequences of modernity that had occurred, that was a separation between the workplace and place of residence, exploitation of workers, fragmentation of joint family system, consumerism developed, misuse of political institutions, development of slums, poverty. All these concepts had differed or had occurred at that period of society. So that will help you with build a static knowledge of modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology thing. So this is one of the aspects that we need to remember, because this is a basics of the sociology as a subject. We need to always keep in mind. And all these led to the crisis of modernity, and to these discipline developed, that was the sociology. So here we talk about the birth of the sociology. And early sociology developed as a reaction to the Enlightenment. This was the line by the Irving Zittlin. He was a very famous thinker at this time when sociology was getting born. So you need to quote him whenever the topic of enlightenment, whenever the topic of early sociology is asked in the reference. So whenever you're quoting things in and around, you have a holistic view, right? So emphasize on the importance of non-rational factors, hierarchical system, industrialization, urbanization, bureaucratization. Whatever changes at that time society came, you need to just remember it as a overall point of view. And this is on a paper too, that modernization, how it has occurred in the concept of Yogendra Singh, how he talks about the internal or endogenous or from outside society also the sources been, how orthogenetic and how the heterogenetic changes has been, how orthogenetic source of changes was reformist in nature and did not bring modernization. So he has always, Yogendra Singh has been of the concept that modernization of Indian traditions has never been in silos. It has always been in whatever has been the outside implications plus whatever is happening in-house. So it has been never replaced. There is no concept of tradition that it has been replaced. It has been coexistence. He talks about that, how things are coexisting. Thus modernization in India has led to both continuities as well as change. It has also led to the reinforcement of traditions. So he talks about this. So overall perspective, if I talk about, we can think in this manner, that decline of feudalism, church declined, chaos was there, whole structure changed, and there was emergence of industrial class, led to the transformation of family, economy, religion, polity, and rise of capitalism, emergence of modern ideas, rationality, secularization, urbanization. All these concepts was happening in a newly chaotic society. So to study this, there was birth of modernity. There was this was termed as something modern was happening, something which the whole earlier society had not seen. So as a result, born of sociology too as a subject on the lines of scientific studies. So now we will have overall perspectives, like we continued in the last two lectures, that we will develop arguments or perspectives on modernity by different thinkers. We went through the static, we will inculcate it with the thinker's perspective, so you develop an overall holistic viewpoint, that how we have to write answers, so that we are not confused about how to generate sociological points, how to generate thinking abilities. So for that thinking abilities, you need to know the thinker's core point of view, and you need to link it with the keyword and analyze it, right? So let's start with the first, Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte, his idea of social evolution talks about in three stages. One is theological, one is the metaphysical, one is the positivist. Theological talks about the religious angles, metaphysical is questioning, and positivist is talking about the rational angles. So in this way, he talks about the three stages evolution. Scientific progress drives modern society. Like we can take the example, AI-driven governance or digitalization of education. This idea can be linked with Auguste Comte's idea. Again, we'll go with the paper one thinker, another, Emile Durkheim. What Emile Durkheim talks about? Emile Durkheim has been talking about modernity in the form of, like, no direct word usage has been done of modernity, but his concept, which can be interlinked with modernity, is that of mechanical solidarity to organic solidarity, how this transformation has taken place. This transformation only talks about that it has been a modern thing, like division of labor got complex, how the things changed, how social integration and changing norms took place. So example can be gig economy or AI or cloud computing, all specialized division of labor, organic solidarity. Earlier one, generalized profession doing all, especially in village, like Hakim only being the teacher, Hakim only giving students the lessons, he is only dealing with the things in and around. So traditional things were in that way, but now we are talking about the specializations, we are talking about the more complex division of labor, right? So again, coming to the third thinker, one of the most important or prominent ones, that has been Karl Marx. He talks about it in the form of the historical materialism, primary driver of social evolution, transformation from primitive communism to slavery to feudalism to capitalism to socialism or communism. So this transformation as a whole has been talked of in the form of modernity. Alienation has been linked as an important concept with modernity, because wherever there is alienation, that means things are getting modern, because the control over the things are not anymore in favor. So like example, IT sector people are alienated or AI replacing job. What is happening? People are getting alienated. People are no more linked to what they own. So they are not the owners, right? They have been alienated. So this is one of the interlinkages of modernity. Max Weber, he talks about it in the form of rationalization of the modern state. Rationalization of the scientific advancement, earlier not rational society. He talks that earlier rationality was not there. Now, with time, scientific advancement has happened, bureaucracy has come up, disenchantment or iron cage has come up. So he talks about it in the form of digital bureaucracy. We can take the example, e-governance, Aadhaar ecosystem. This is what rationality has, scientific advancement has happened, bureaucracy has advanced. So this can be linked of one of the other forms where Max Weber's concept of modernity can be linked. Coming to Talcott Parsons, he talks of in the form of, we all know that pattern variables. He talks about pattern variable A to pattern variable B. We talk about the ascriptions, we talk about the universalism, we talk about the traditional or modern values, how the traditional things were there and then the modernity has come. So in that aspect, you can talk about transformations. In that is one of the interlinkages of the modernity. So example can be earlier status dependent on birth, now on merit plus performance, or digital recruitment, digital public infrastructure. That is the universalism concept. So this can be linked as one of the modernity linkages. Again, Ulrich Beck, what he talks about, we all know that he has been talking about manufactured risks, he has been talking about the risk society, all these concepts, right? All these concepts are that modernity is not coming alone. The society in which we are living are modern, but involves risks. In and around things are of riskier. So climate change, cybersecurity, deep fakes, etc. These are all the consequences of modernity. These are also the interlinkages of modernity where things have happened in the negative form. So he talks about that modernity does not comes alone. Modernity also brings with it the rest manufactured risks. Coming to the next thinker, he is also one of the prominent ones in the form of modernity, that he talks about late modernity or the reflexive modernity. He talks that people constantly rethink institutions and identity. Like if we take try to explain it in the little lighter form, that what is reflexive modernity, we can think it from the, just try to understand it from the example. Earlier marriages were decided by parents alone. Now dating apps, compatibility tests, counseling, relationships become matter of continuous reflection. So evaluation is happening. Things are getting evaluated on a constant basis. Earlier health issues were there, only home remedy we talked of, grandma totkas we talked about, that all those will help us. Now we are googling the symptoms, we are watching YouTube videos, we are comparing doctors' opinions, etc. So there is again constant evaluation. So what is being talked about? There is a reflexive modernity, that things are being reflex. Again, Zygmunt Bauman's concept has been always been in usage of the liquid modernity. This is a very beautiful concept. It talks that relationships, jobs and identities become fluid and unstable. Example, gig careers or dating apps or the job hunting or hopping, that modern today, traditional tomorrow. What is being talked about, that AI is today's modern thing. So you think that 10 years later or 5 years down the line, we'll think that okay, AI has come up now only and it is just the modern thing. No, it will get traditional tomorrow. We'll get used to it so much. So whatever it is liquid modernity. Don't think that what is modern will always remain modern, right? So we are constantly changing our personality to modernize in society. Both of these concepts are very beautiful concept of reflexive modernity and the liquid modernity. You should and definitely keep ready of these keywords to be mentioned in the answers. So Wallerstein has again one of the important thinkers. He has talked about the world system theory. What world system theory talks about? That there is always interlinkages, always dependency, dependent of dependency showcased in this modern world. Like example, tariffs relatable as we are dependent on countries. Like we know all that Donald Trump had been lately using all those tariff concepts of highly charging to other countries. India was also one of those countries where charges or tariffs had been high. So all those showcases that modernity is there, but modernity in the form of world system theory, where dependency was showcased. That we also talk of the machines, all the MRI machines or the things, we are dependent upon the rich countries or the developed countries like Germany, Europe's other nations. So this what it showcased, that this world is a modern connected world, where we talk also about the word globalization, but in the other way around you can also link it to modernity, right? So again, coming to the next person, that is Pierre Bourdieu. He talks about it in the form of cultural capital or social capital. We are dependent on these two things, cultural capital and social capital. Modernity gives new opportunities, but not everyone has equal resources to use them. He talks about the inequalities. He talks about that how resources are there, but still not everyone is available to use it. Who, like example, who will study or actually learn AI? Who possesses resources? Who has internet? Who has laptop, etc.? Others, no opportunity to use it. So this is what Pierre Bourdieu talks about in the form of cultural capital or social capital, right? So cultural capital or social capital, who has he can be talked about in the form of modern. If modernity has to be talked of in the language of Pierre Bourdieu, cultural capital means what? That you have a good networking, you have a good knowledge system. Social capital is in the form of networking, how good networks you have developed in this modern world. Similarly, if we this topic is not to be kept in alone with paper 1, you need to interlink with paper 2, because this topic has its immense importance in the paper 2 also. Indian thinkers or sociologists have also emphasized on these keywords of the modernity, modernization, all these keywords. We'll see how. So we are starting with M.N. Srinivas. What M.N. Srinivas talks of? M.N. Srinivas talks of in the form of westernization, Sanskritization, assimilation, secularization. You can go with the static notes in the Brainstorming Sociology's Telegram channel, which I'll help you support to reach out in the last slide. But you can go through it in the static notes, that what is westernization, what is Sanskritization, what is assimilation or secularization, if you're not aware about in the basics. But we can link that whenever the things of westernization, how the western influences, how the European cultures, how this has impacted us, how Sanskritization over the years, how traditions has been changing, how assimilation, how we have adapted with the things, how secularization is still a part with assimilation. So you can interlink and think that is the concept of modernity in the terms of M.N. Srinivas. How he has talked about in the example, we can connect digital education among rural youth, caste dynamics in competitive exams. Still, all these are ongoing, right? Digital education in the rural youth. Rural societies earlier didn't have internet connection, but now we are talking about their rural youth's digital education. So think about the interlinkage. Coming to the next thinker, A.R. Desai. He has been always in the lines of Karl Marx, right? So Karl Marx has always been critical about the economy part, about the capitalism part. Similarly, he will also talk about it. Modernization and the capitalism deepens class inequality. Again, the class inequality type of question, anywhere if it comes, that rural or urban divide type of question, which has been interlinked with modern forces, you can talk about A.R. Desai, right? So rise of class conflict, or example can be contract labor or informal work, cause platform workers, gig workers, those who are facing the blunts of the capitalists. So that has been of the concern for the modernization under capitalism, right? So coming to the next thing, the Yogendra Singh, he has been of immense importance again, cause he talks about in the form of India experiences modernization of tradition. So India is not only a traditional country, but it has also modernized according to him. He talks about it in the form of traditional continuities. He has never talked about it that completely replacement has happened. He has talked about the coexistence. So example can be, we earlier only kurta was worn, but when jeans had come, the people had adopted it. So what they did, they were wearing kurta also, they were wearing it with, pairing it up with jeans. Aloo tikki in burger. What is this? Earlier, burgers in the US nations or the European countries, only they had beef in it, or they had any other stuffed chicken in it. But now, whenever they came in the inside of, whenever they launched in the form of westernized world to Indian world, what they did the amalgamation, they did the conceptualization of modernity of the Indian tradition. They did it with the aloo tikki in the burger, they did it with the vegan food, they came up with Jain versions of the burgers. So whenever you are selecting even the Vande Bharat, you can notice that there is vegan food available for what is this, all these concepts were not earlier in the part of India, right? So they saw that whatever there is a facility of the modernity, we will inculcate. Also tradition needs not to be left out, so inculcate modernity plus tradition. So again, Jainies also eating vegan food, or the aloo tikki in burger. These concepts like marriages, kanyadan is there, also divorce is there. Divorce was never a concept of the Hindu society, right? It was always interlinked with Saat Feras, Saat Janmo ka Rishta. You talk about this. So whenever we are talking about this, can you think that divorce can be one of the aspects? How can we talk about it? But no, we gave chance to that also because we are talking about the modernization of the Indian tradition. We are talking that both are going hand in hand. Live-in relationship is also there. Social marriage is also happening. We are giving also talking about the LGBTQ plus relationship status. Earlier it was not being talked of much. But with this, modernization has happened. In the Indian traditions, things have not only replaced, but it has giving space to it. Coexistence is happening. Indian modernity is different. This is a very important keyword, beautifully used, that Indian modernity is different. It is not to be interlinked with Europe. It has its own existence. It has its own things. Yes, we can think that Europe had institutionalized it, but not only institutionalized will always be the same in what Europe is applying, India will also apply. Differences are there. That has been beautifully addressed by Yogendra Singh. So again, we are coming to G.S. Ghure's concept. We all know that G.S. Ghure has been that Indologist, that first person who has glorified India in every possible manner. We all know this, right? So glorification, whenever you want to do for any question related to India, you can always use G.S. Ghure sir. He has seen acculturation, he has glorified India. We are modern since Vedic times and ahead. He will never downplay Hindus, he will never downplay Indian traditions. He will always focus and show that India has been modern. How IBC's urban infrastructure, women in Vedic times, Lopamudra, Apala, they all had their own viewpoints that was interlinked with other rishis or munis. So that what it shows, according to G.S. Ghure, that we were modern since ages. Modern since ages. So whenever you need to show this aspect, you can always link G.S. Ghure. Okay, coming to the next, one of the important thinkers of for paper 2 is mistaken modernity. This is a very beautiful concept. How this has been interlinked with Dipankar Gupta, the way he has shown is that owning modern goods does not necessarily mean having modern values. This is a very important thing that we all do in India, right? That we all show that we have a luxurious car, we have a very handsome salary, and they are very modern. They are like buying all the branded clothes and everything, but that has got no Indian values or nothing, all sorts of negativity in the form of value systems. So like if we take the example, a person uses UPI, books, online cabs, etc., but refuses to rent a house to someone from Dalit community. So we are sounding technically modern, but thinking is still orthodox. Do you think that this is a type of example for modernity? No. So that's why Dipankar Gupta has classified it beautifully as mistaken modernity. People are thinking that we are modern, but not in the form of value systems. We are modern in the form of only things that is going in and around. That we are buying luxurious in the form of, we can talk about in the form of materialistic, right? Materialistic showcases that we are very modern. See the goods and the things in and around. We have luxurious cars, we have all the branded clothes and everything. But from the value system, completely unmodern, or like orthodox you can call, right? Unmodern is not a word, but still we tell that he is not at all a modern person, he is still orthodox. So what can be talked about it in the form of mistaken modernity? We can talk about it in the form of, so this was some of the interlinkages to show you that these keywords or these static concepts, you will surely have whatever I had shown in the earlier slides. But apart from that, having these concepts in and around, having these thinkers, ideas, concepts as an overall viewpoint, you can use it in the form of any answer. G.S. Ghore sir, what he talks about, glorification of India, how Yogendra Singh talks about in the modernization of Indian tradition, how M.N. Srinivas talks about in the form of westernization, Sanskritization, acculturation, assimilation, secularization, how A.R. Desai sir talks about in the form of class inequality, how apart from these Indian thinkers, how classical thinkers, Max Weber, how Karl Marx, how Pierre Bourdieu, how Wallerstein, how Zygmunt Bauman's liquid modernity, Anthony Giddens' reflexive modernity, how Ulrich Beck's risk society, how Talcott Parsons' transformation from patent variable A to B, how Karl Marx, how Max Weber rationalization. All these concepts can be beautifully explained in the form of modernity. So just use these concepts, use it to understand the importance for the PYQs, for the static notes. Also, statics has to be surely gone through. You need to understand that how this modernity concept developed. Definitely, whenever we are not aware about these static concepts, we will never be able to interlink how the thinkers are going or how the perspectives are being developed. So go through these notes, have this edges from the Brainstorming Sociology's Telegram channel. I'll show you the link. I'll put up the link at the last. So always interlink that how PYQs are asked, right? So I showcased you that how PYQs has been asked. I showcased you that how these thinkers are always are a common application, how you can use these thinkers. Don't use it like writing the word and mentioning it, but developing points in and around sociologically for the concepts is very important. So we'll also be having classes or the interlinkages of the any answer, how it has to be written for sociological point development. We'll have classes for that also, but before that, try to develop this habit of interlinkages. Try to have this sociological concept clarity, how sociological perspectives are being used, right? So you can also have a better perspective, better sociological keywords to mention in your answer for any type of question can be dealt with this. So with this, we come to the end of this lecture. We are here to say you goodbye. And with this, I would request you all to kindly join the Telegram channel of Brainstorming Sociology so that you are keeping us updated, or we are updated about you, that how things are going on, how notes are being provided. The things over the years that has been developed are easily available in this Telegram channel. Try to scan this QR code also. You will be very much in a good position to get an edge with Brainstorming Sociology. So have a good day and give me the feedback of how did you like the lecture or what all changes you need in this. Thank you so much.